Young at Heart by Pam Young. Feeding the Squeamish. Have a pencil and paper ready for a recipe at the end of this essay. One of my adult relatives who shall remain nameless has SES, Squeamish Eater Syndrome. I love her in spite of her affliction. As a mother, I'm familiar with squeamish eaters. Out of my 3 kids, only one was a real squeamer, Joanna. The list of foods that could bring on her gag reflex was endless. The best way to get the gaggers into her, with their valuable vitamins and nutrients, was to buy a food processor and puree the identity out of them. Most children are not as bad as Joanna was, and I'm pleased to report that as an adult, she has made friends with many of her childhood food enemies. As adults, most of us have a fairly tolerant palate, but there is a line that is drawn somewhere right around giblets. That's probably why we call them giblets and not vital chicken organs, and why we call squid calamari and calves veal. I think the reason American restaurants list snails on the appetizer fare as escargot is because they know that if their menus read snails, they'd have 0 takers. While this goes on in the States, I wonder if it happens in France. Since I've never been there, I wonder if French menus use English words like snails or even slugs with a shell in the poshest candlelit establishments, luring French-born, non-English-speaking diners into orders that would never happen if the menu read escargot. On a personal note, I've learned in feeding the squeamish, including my relative, that they'll eat and enjoy many foods as long as they don't know what they're eating. Since I'm on a low-carb, high-fat diet these days, and my low-carb doctor has recommended eating organ meats, I dug into my recipe collection and found this note, quote, "Not very popular, even with the most daredevilish eaters, because a plate of chicken hearts, no matter how delicious, looks more like a serving of marinated rabbit droppings," unquote. I remembered, while wrapping up yummy leftover coronary organs after several parties, I'd thought up the idea of hiding the delicious little delicacies in a tasty mushroom camouflage. After taking a tray of these extraordinary appetizers to a party or serving them in your home, you'll be bombarded with praise, unless, of course, your guests don't like mushrooms. Mushrooms with a heart. 36 medium-sized mushrooms, 1 tablespoon coconut oil, 1 tablespoon vinegar, 1/2 cup white wine, 1/2 cup chopped onion, 2 cloves of garlic minced, 36 chicken hearts, 3/4 pound to 1 pound. The topping, 1/2 teaspoon Lowry's seasoned salt, juice of 1 clove of garlic pressed in a garlic press, 1/4 teaspoon pepper, 1 tablespoon Worcestershire sauce, 6 ounces Philadelphia brand cream cheese softened, 1/2 cup Parmesan cheese. Step 1, wash the mushrooms and pop out the stems and set both aside. Step 2, in a large skillet, heat the oil, vinegar, white wine, garlic, and onions over medium heat, mixing thoroughly. Add the chicken hearts, mushrooms, and stems. Cover and simmer 10 minutes. Step 3, remove the mushrooms with a slotted spoon. Continue cooking the chicken hearts and stems for another 20 minutes or until hearts are tender. Remove chicken hearts with the slotted spoon and cool. Step 4, pour leftover contents of skillet into a food processor and puree. Pour mixture into a small bowl with the seasoned salt, garlic, pepper, Worcestershire sauce, cream cheese, and Parmesan cheese. Step 5, stuff a heart in each mushroom cavity and hide each one with the cheese topping. Just before serving, place under the broiler until the topping bubbles and browns slightly. I don't usually share recipes in my Young at Heart essays, but remembering and looking up this sneaky recipe made me want to share it with you. Adore who you are. Adore where you are. Adore who you're with.